This is Erin Fisher, Technology Integration Facilitator for the East Bridgewater Public Schools, and this is an overview of the newest Pear Deck add-on. So the best part about the Pear Deck add-on is that you make the Google Slides any way you want. So think about questions that you would like to ask on a Google Slide presentation. You can manipulate the backgrounds and put in pretty backgrounds like this rainbow background. You can put in clip art. You can do whatever you want to the slide. Then when you have your question ready, you simply go to the add-ons and use your Pear Deck add-on. If you don't have this add-on yet, you just need to install it in the Get Add-ons menu. Once you do have it, you're going to open the Pear Deck sidebar. And this is nice because if you do need more explanation, they will go through and show you and tell you how it works, and they're wonderful. And I'll show you right now. So we're going to open the Pear Deck add-on. Now, they already have some pre-made questions, so you don't have to do anything, and you can just throw these in. And they're just like generic questions. Draw 2 things you learned yesterday. What do you want to know about today's topic? So a little KWL here. Or you can make your own questions and then turn them into interactive questions. So for instance, this right now is not a Pear Deck question. When I go to present this, this will just present on their screen like a slide. That's it. I could also embed video if I wanted to on here by just insert video. And if I have a video, I can put that on the slide, and that video will also come through to the kids and they can watch it. So if you're going to do something with video and questions, you can actually do this in student pace mode. And that would be a great lesson if you wanted them to answer questions on videos. Could do that. Or you can screencast and put your own video in showing them how to do a skill and have them answer questions. So if I wanted to turn this, let's say, into a text question, I would just simply hit text. And they're adding the question. Takes a moment. Today it's taking a long moment. There we go. It just went. So now when this appears to the students, they'll see 100 Days Smarter, and they'll also get a text box on their screen. So they'll see my slide and they'll see a text box to respond. Now, I haven't asked them a question, so they're not going to know what to write. That's important. Put your question on the slide just by using a text box. So for instance, here's a question. This was a 2nd grade Pear Deck. What is something you would like 100 of? And you'll notice it tells me right here. This is a text response. This one I really enjoyed, and so did the kids for 100 days. This is a drawing response. So if you want to make a drawing response, again, you want to put in your image. This is what they will draw on. They can actually draw on the entire slide. This is what will populate on their screen, and they can draw anywhere they want. So if you wanted to input a graph here, you could make this any type of math question. You could make the whole slide a graph and just put one text box across the top. You really, the options are limitless of what you can do with this drawing tool. So if you click draw, you notice I already have this as a drawing slide, but now it's going to show you what the options are for my drawing. Oh, or not. We'll have to look at student mode to see that, but they get a lot of different colors, text boxes, different thicknesses of the line tool, different thicknesses of the drawing tool, and an erase button. So it's basically like paint, if you ever play with paint in your accessories. Another text question. This is fun. This is draggable. This would be great if you wanted to do some graphing, plot points on a graph. Drawer is good for that too, because you can draw lines. But this is where it's showing you, this is what it will look like on the student end. It will give them 5 fish. They can drag the fish into the tank. And then when you display it as the whole class, you can show it overlaid, and it will show everybody's answer. So it will show everyone in the tank. You have a lot of options, and it doesn't have to be a fish tank, of course. It can be anything you would like. Notice you can give them numbers and make them insert symbols if you wanted them to do an equation. You can insert numbers as well. You could have them annotate language, if you're working on different pieces of grammar. And then there's just some fun ones too. So I did fish, obviously, because I'm Mrs. Fisher. You can make these big. You can make them tiny. So it's trying to show you what it will look like. Picture this as the entire computer screen. Again, this is another just students writing. You can do more draggables. Student writing, filling in grids. This is a number response. They can only respond with a number. And then I didn't do multiple choice, but you do have multiple choice options. And you can add quite a few multiple choice. I don't know if there's a limit. With draggables, there's 5, but it doesn't appear to be a limit with multiple choice. So it is important to note that Pear Deck does not let them know if they are correct. So it is not like Google Forms where it will shoot back if they were right or wrong. You can export the data to a spreadsheet. Once you have that spreadsheet, you can enable Flubaroo and it will say if it's right or wrong, or you can just use it as data for yourself for formative data. If you decide to use Flubaroo on Google Sheets and take these as grades, then it's important to note that you would need to use multiple choice and short answer text only, because Flubaroo does not recognize drawings or draggables. So that is the Pear Deck add-on. When you're ready to present your deck, you will simply click Present with Pear Deck. Now, this will take a moment. Just note that when you make these decks, the bigger they are, the longer they are, the more that they have on them, the longer it will take to have it load in. So just keep that in mind. You can always launch it prior to class, and you can also pull kids in from Google Classroom if you have your Google Classroom enabled on Pear Deck. So you have some options. The kids can just join just like this, similar to Kahoot, or you can turn it on to student-paced mode, which means now it's individual. If you turn on the teacher dashboard, which is in the premium accounts, which we in East Bridgewater have, but you may or may not have, you can invite your kids right from Google Classroom. This is powerful because then it will show you who has signed in and who hasn't. This is great if you want data later on to see who's done what. It will just show you who's absent. If you have a student that's absent, they can sign in at home, which is really great. It will sync right with your Google Classroom. You don't want to display this when you are, if you're doing this whole class and you're displaying it, you want to display from this projection model. This is the dashboard. This is what you will see if you are carrying around a secondary device, and if students respond, you'll see the responses here. You can choose to list them, or you can choose a grid layout. With a drawing, you can choose an overlay, which will show all of the answers. And if you do this, project, now it will show the student answers. If you decide to ask a live question, let's say you forgot a question, you can click Ask New Question. You can re-ask the same question if kids didn't do well. You want to try it again. It will delete out what they have. Or New Interactive Question, and you can ask it on the fly. This is, you would have to have a secondary device running the dashboard. You run the dashboard on the secondary device by opening up Chrome, going to www.peardeck.com/dash. That's really the most powerful piece of Pear Deck, seeing their answers. You can even star answers and display the ones you want to see. Student paced mode is also great because you can go from whole class to student paced at any time. I can turn on student paced at any time. If I see some kids aren't doing well, turn on student paced, let some kids finish, I pull another group. You could use this at center time if you're using centers, and you can turn on student paced the whole class and let them do it in centers. This just has so many possibilities, and you can use it really K-12 because you can put anything on here. Video, graphing questions, math type, and it's a great tool. Enjoy.